follow this old trail. So this would be where the Dewdney Trail goes along for this section. I was talking about old Hedley Road and how it used to be kind of the old road to get into Hedley. Well, the Dewdney Trail is over here. Okay guys, so this is old Hedley Road that we're on. This is the old road that everybody used to take before the Crow's Nest was built. It's slower, it goes about 60 kilometers an hour average speed. It's windy, but it's got some cool historical things on the way. The Dewdney Trail, the original sections of the Dewdney Trail are still visible from here. There's a good stop we're gonna go check out. I think there are 3,000 or 4,000 year old pictographs from the Similkameen ancestry, the Similkameen Indian band ancestry. So there, you'll see a mark for it. There's a like pictograph sign, and you can literally see like paintings that the Similkameen Indians did like many years ago. They're still there. They're still on the rocks, you know, after all this time. We are now entering the region of the Similkameen Gold Rush. So 1853, gold was first discovered, but as usual, it takes a few years or some time, guys, for the word to get out because it was the 1850s. By 1860, they had started mining the creek. The really good ground on the Similkameen is above Princeton. You know, South Friday Creek, Sunday Creek, Saturday Creek. But these creeks, gold-bearing, platinum-bearing creeks. Like they say, the Tulameen is one of the only rivers you can get placer platinum out of, but that is technically not true, in the sense that you can get it from Sawaka. You can also get little bits of platinum out of the Similkameen here as well. The flow of the river is just, all the snow's melted in the mountains, so it doesn't really have much flow anymore, the Similkameen. I thought that was pretty incredible. With the Columbia, you have the glacial reserves up in the mountains, the Columbia Mountains and stuff, so the Columbia runs pretty hard, but this is actually the perfect time of year, guys, to go gold mining, because the river level's really low, so it's not hard for you to access. There was gold found below Princeton, about 8 kilometers below Princeton, which is, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting into the territory. It's also where they found gold. So they've been finding gold up along the Similkameen River, all the way up past Copper Mountain. And you can get gold and platinum on the Similkameen River, 4-to-1 ratio, basically. So 4 gold, 1 platinum. 4 pieces of gold you're getting 1 piece of platinum, right? The platinum's pretty consistent, same size as the gold. There has been mining up on the benches here. There's a few benches as you keep driving along the Similkameen River. Always mine those benches. Those benches are great. Sometimes they can even be better than the gravel in the ground. You never know, right? It's just, where is the run and are you hitting it? But this road, Old Hedley Road, this was the old road that you would have taken before the Crow's Nest. The Crow's Nest is just right over there. It's, 80 kilometers an hour. And also, the part of the Crow's Nest from Hedley to Princeton is kind of like, a lot of times you just end up getting stuck behind traffic and there's nowhere to really pass that's safe. And there's no double passing lanes because it's a narrow part of the canyon. So you just sit behind somebody watching their tail. So I figured we take this road because this road doesn't have any traffic. It's more scenic and also has quite an interesting history because we're driving along the Similkameen River right now. I don't have any claims on the Similkameen. The Similkameen is fully claimed. I'm not wandering around spending time to do that. Plus, you're not going to find much nowadays. Whatever gold was mined here was picked clean. There was a dredge operation here. They got a little bit of gold, just a little bit south of Princeton, but nothing crazy. It's kind of flowery, foily gold here because the gold's been it's traveled quite far to get to where it's going. So it's been deformed, flattened out a bit, right? Because gold's very malleable, so it won't like shatter in the same sense as like pyrite will. It'll just kind of deform itself, and it will break apart, but not as easily as pyrite or other materials. One of the good ways to know if you're getting pyrite in your pan is when you pick little flakes out of your pan. If you're getting these little square, kind of like cubey looking pieces, and they break really easily with the tweezers, that's not gold, it's pyrite. And that's why they call it fool's gold, because it looks like gold, and some people think it's gold when it's not gold. But it's a sulfide mineral, and sulfide minerals, like lead, zinc, silver, copper, they're all key to the formation of gold deposits because it's all the same kind of things are attracted together. And so usually if there's one, there's going to be something else. Especially when it's silver, lead, zinc, they tend to really like to hang out together, like sphalerite, galena, chalcopyrite, right, copper. These are all, and pyrite itself is iron sulfide, the chemical designation for it. But Old Hedley Road, it's windy. It's a fun drive, driving through the Similkameen Valley right now. It's hot, it's 36 degrees outside right now. So, getting into the truck is pretty scary. But we're high up above here now. See what I was saying about the benches? So yeah, giving these benches a good working through, right? Get an excavator and a trommel, or back in the day it would have been a steam shovel, and start digging through here. You'd do pretty well, I'd imagine. It's a fairly big region. Like, we're now on top of the bench, basically, and the river's down below. There's a point here where we'll get out, we'll look at the old Dewdney Trail. There's a remnant of the old Dewdney Trail that's been saved, which is pretty cool. And then you kind of just pop out in Princeton, kind of in the back. Kind of similar to Kelowna in the 33, where you're just kind of randomly pop out in the middle of Princeton. Also similar to Santa Rosa Road, Rossland, same kind of deal. You just kind of like, you're driving and then all of a sudden you end up in Princeton. But this is how you would have gotten from Princeton to Hedley, the old wagon road back in the days. The pioneers would have been going on this road. We'll see, we're back down at the river now. It's got almost no floating. But that's just because the time it is in the year. It's actually pretty decent for now, I think. But the Tulameen has the same issue. It starts to run dry and then it stops down to like a trickle, basically. The snow melt is what supplies these rivers with their water, and as soon as you lose snow melt, that's it. So like this here, these banks here be good. Mining in there, right? Because the water level of the river will change over time. Occasionally you get big floods. Flood gold is always a big thing, guys. Everybody rushes out after the flood because it means that fresh gold has been deposited. Cattle guard. You see all the big chunks of the boulders that have fallen over. Similkameen's got a lot of natural bends. This region's pretty good for gold. Like, you will probably find stuff here, but the better region, the more coveted region, is above Princeton, heading towards Copper Mountain. And the Similkameen rises out of the Cascades. The creeks and the rivers and the Cascades feed the Similkameen. And then the Similkameen comes out, empties out in the States. So this would be prime gold territory. It's prime mining territory back in the day. 1853, they started working this creek. And back then, it would have been awesome. The gold would have been getting out of here would have been unreal. And then 1860, the rush kind of started, and then it's been sporadically happening in little chunks ever since. Now, obviously, nowadays, with gold being higher price, it's definitely promising site, for sure. Mining. Okay, guys, so here we are by the Similkameen River, 36 degrees out. It's got a little bit of flow to it. Not really much, not compared to what it used to be, but the water level's going down. That's the Dewdney Trail. I've got a sign for me here. The short section of the Dewdney Trail can be seen high on the banks opposite this kiosk. The original hand-placed stone retaining walls built over 150 years ago still remain today. This section of the trail is not maintained and therefore not recommended for hiking due to unstable terrain. The Dewdney Trail starts here, follows the modern highway pretty much almost verbatim, with minus a couple things. Princeton, Hedley, Old Hedley Road, right? The Dewdney Trail, Karamias, Osoyoos, Greenwood, Castlegar, Santa Rosa Road, Nelson, and then down along the lake in Creston. The Dewdney Trail linked all mining camps and small towns that were springing up as a result of the gold rush era in the southern part of the colony of British Columbia. Today, over 80% of the original trail lies under the Crow's Nest Highway. Edgar Dewdney was contracted by Governor James Douglas to construct the first engineered trail in the newly formed colony of British Columbia in August 1860. This first section of trail was named the Hope Similkameen Mule Road and later became part of the famous Dewdney Trail. The first section of trail was 120 kilometers long, starting in Fort Hope and ending in Vermilion Forks, Princeton. The route followed by Dewdney through the Princeton area was known as the Similkameen Spirit Trail and was originally used by First Nations for hunting, fishing, and trading up and down the Similkameen and Tulameen rivers. By 1865, the trail was built all the way to Wild Horse Creek, and the entire length was over 700 kilometers. The Dewdney Trail was a critical factor in the development of Princeton in 1860 and the entire southern interior of the colony of British Columbia. The trail followed the ancient transportation routes of the Similkameen First Nations. The 1,400-kilometer round-trip journey from Hope to Wild Horse Creek in the Rockies took 6 weeks by horse and mule. Over 53 kilometers of the original Dewdney Trail remains in the Cascade Mountain Range. The trail is presently maintained for hiking and equestrian use. Access is from the Cascade Parking Area in Manning Provincial Park or at 18-kilometer on the Whipsaw Forest Service Road west of Princeton. You can see it over there. That's the original trail skirting along the side of the mountain there. Follow this old trail. So this would be where the Dewdney Trail goes along for this section. I was talking about old Hedley Road and how it used to be kind of the old road to get into Hedley. Well, the Dewdney Trail is over here. See, this is the original section of the Dewdney Trail. Whoa, hot, 36 degrees out. So this is it, the Dewdney Trail. We're now walking on the Dewdney Trail. So just imagine it's the 1860s. You're walking a horse and mule along here, trying to get the rich gold reserves of wherever you're going, Rock Creek, Wild Horse. Maybe you're going up into Greenwood, who knows. A lot of work. Oh, it's hot. You can see, is there a washout here? And then that's the Similkameen River below us, which would have been all about gold mining. So yeah, we continue following this all the way around to Hedley and then onwards. So this is the old Dewdney Trail. Not too high up, but high enough up that you wouldn't have fun if you went for a tumble. And this was all blazed by hand, and it ended in the Wild Horse. The first chunk of it started for Rock Creek because they wanted to have access to Rock Creek. So we're gonna hike back down now because it doesn't really go anywhere. This is the Dewdney Trail, and you'll see it in parts in other areas along the Cascade Mountain Range. There's good parts, good chunks of it, and like they said, there's a bunch of kilometers of it that's still passable. So that's really interesting to note, because you know, if you want to go for a hike on the old Dewdney Trail, you got to do that Cascade Manning parking area. But the Dewdney Trail was built to assert Canada's claim to the southern region, because America was dead set on them having ownership over that, and so they had to basically ensure that that did not happen by having the Dewdney Trail, the Kettle Valley Railway, and other settlements established. Let's go down here. So this is the river, Similkameen River. This is getting right into the good stuff for mining. Like I said, nowadays, not as big. But back in the day, guys, yeah, there would have been lots of gold that had been had here. Pretty standard ground, though. You can see that's the Crow's Nest Highway on the other side, the original Crow's Nest Highway. So that's the Similkameen. When we get to Princeton, the Similkameen runs right through Princeton. Similkameen River, guys. And then the old Dewdney Trail is up there. Old Hedley Road, like I said, it takes you basically up here in Princeton, like in the actual town itself. Then we'll hit a junction and then we'll basically be right in town. This is Princeton's mill. Pretty big mill. So this is the Bridge of Dreams. That's the confluence for the Painting Reserve. So this is the Tulameen River, and this is Similkameen. And this is Princeton. There's the visitor center. And we go to. Okay, so guys, we are in the Similkameen River Gold Rush now. We're above Princeton, driving up the Crow's Nest to the summit. So we're gonna pass like South Friday Creek, Saturday Creek, Sunday Creek, all around here, Coffin Mountain. This is the good area where everything's really cooked. It's really big, thick gravel benches up here. Placer, platinum, and gold as well. 4-to-1 ratio. But yeah, some of these claims are great. Bill Barley had a claim around here. And on the Tulameen. He actually mentioned his claim at South Friday. I think it was Friday Creek. Or something like that at one point. So, pretty interesting, guys. So you'll see the Copper Mountain stuff too. The big dam that everybody's worried about potentially breaking. As well as the 2 mining facilities on either side. Okay guys, so we've reached the South Fork of Friday Creek. So that's going to kind of conclude our little Similkameen Gold Rush mining video. You can see how far it is, guys. We started from on the Hedley Wagon Road trail there, the old Hedley Road, all the way up to the South Fork of Friday Creek. We are basically coming to a close here. You could follow it up a little bit more, you might get some gold, but basically it starts to peter out right around here. Pretty long-lasting gold rush, 1860s, up until basically now. People are still mining, it's still active and clean down there. So anyways, if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified, leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you, and Sasquatch Prospector.